What's with the obsession of height?
Well, that's interesting. Like when you look at dating apps, it's something like 80% of the women that are on dating apps say they want a guy that's like minimum 6 feet and above.
Yeah.
And so guys that are shorter than that, they'll typically see the girl's profile, but she'll never see theirs because they don't match the height. And that's why a lot of the guys, they do a lot of swiping and like, man, I don't get a lot of matches. And it's a big reason is because you see these women, but they never see you.
Yeah.
And so that's, for guys that are under 6 feet, unless you're going to fudge your profile a little bit and put a disclaimer in there, you're just not going to get seen by the majority of the women that are on there. And so guys hear that and they go, oh, well, she only likes tall guys.
Yeah.
And that's why if you meet women in person, it doesn't matter because if she feels attraction for you in person, you could be the same height as she is. If she feels attraction, even though she might have in her dating profile, I only date guys that are 6'5" and above. If she feels attraction, that's the only thing that matters. Attraction cuts, attraction level cuts through everything. That's why when guys ask me about these things, what about money? What about looks? What about height? It's like none of that shit matters.
Yeah.
That's why getting good at making conversations, small talk, meeting women in person is going to be so much better for a guy, especially if you're a shorter dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is that number one, everybody is used to being on their digital devices these days, and so dating apps are, enable guys to be extremely lazy and socially awkward in person. And so if you can develop yourself enough to you're like your social life and what you do for fun when you're not working affords you the ability to constantly be meeting new people when you're out doing the things you love and enjoy for your social life,
Mm-hmm.
then meeting like-minded people who like the same things is a side effect of just going out and having fun with your friends, your family, doing whatever it is you do, whether it's, cooking out at a friend's house, watching football games or basketball or college ball or hockey or whatever it happens to be, or just getting together for a pool party at somebody's house
Yeah.
or going to a local bar or restaurant and hanging out with, or your yacht club or your country club, or just going to, your kid's high school sporting event or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Even if you're a single parent, you meet other parents, other women, other people in the stands there. It's just so the process of living your life and having a good time enables you to meet new people.
Yeah.
And so the thing with women is that you guys respond to how the guy's showing up. And so if the guy's short and he's got little man syndrome and he feels insecure about it,
Yeah.
and you mention, well, normally I only date guys that are 6'5", and you're unfazed by that and you don't really care, and you have some kind of humorous, funny comeback for that communicates to the woman that you're not bothered by the fact that she says, "Oh, I like guys that are only 6'5". It's like, well, the way you're looking at me says otherwise,
Right.
says that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And if she busts out laughing, then you got her. Then what you just said is true
Mm-hmm.
because she's laughing and she plays with the hair and she shows her neck, and that's why those things don't matter. That's why you see everybody watching this has seen an absolutely stunning, beautiful woman many, many times in their life with some dude that just looks like he crawled out of he's been dumpster diving for the day or something like that. And bottom line is you look at her and then you look at him and you're like, just like we were talking about, what's her name?
Selena Gomez and
Selena
Ariana.
and Ariana Grande.
Mm-hmm.
And, because people are talking about the dudes that they're dating. And they're like,
Right.
these women are stunningly beautiful. And yet, you would think that they would be with some chiseled, supermodel, masculine looking dude.
Yeah.
And instead they're with guys that most people look at them and they're like, what?
Yeah.
And you look at Pete Davidson, because people look at him, he's got dark circles, and he makes fun of it himself. He's like, he looks like he's on crack. He looks like a drug addict.
Right.
But he's dating the hottest, most
Mm-hmm.
attractive women in Hollywood. He's like, he checked all the boxes. Like most of the girls in Hollywood, the actresses and models that the average guy would be like, that's a beautiful woman.
Right.
He's already been there.
Mm-hmm. I know a friend that her boyfriend's like 4'11". I kid you not, he's like 4'11" or 5 feet, and she's like 5'8", I believe. But she loves him, like to death. She loves him. They live together. They've been together for like 5 years. And when you see them walk in a room, it's like her holding a hand to like a toddler. It's the funniest thing. And he's Asian too, and it's just like a short little Asian guy. So and she's like blonde, beautiful, like model type. And they're when they walk, it's like two people like this.
There's a meme that you see on social media a lot, on Twitter and Instagram, and it's this guy. He was kind of short, and he's making out with this very tall woman,
Mhm.
and he's got his legs wrapped around her waist as she's got him pressed up against the refrigerator.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I don't know if you guys have you seen that one.
that's funny.
And people comment like, "Oh, how Taylor Swift kissing Travis Kelsey." That's a little.
Well, he's actually bigger than her because he's a big,
Well,
tall
no,
football
but
player.
It was funny. It was funny. I've seen that meme used
But
for
yeah,
fun.
they did take it and they put his head on that person,
Yeah,
and it's pretty funny. And then they put her face on the woman.
but I don't know. For me, I dated a guy who was like 5'5", 5'5". I'm not even gonna say 5'7". That's like giving a compliment to him.
He was a short dude.
He was a short dude, and I'm 5'2", so it's like only 2 to 3 inches.
You're short.
I think it's average. 5'2" is like average.
That's a good height for a girl.
Yeah. And he was just like not even like 2 inches taller than me, and we're looking at each other face to face, and I just feel like two kids walking around, like two high schoolers walking around. I'm like, I don't see this as like a real relationship. And he was a great guy. Like he made decent money. He had his own place, and he was good. Like he treated me well and took me out to places.
He was just squishy.
But he was 5'5", and I couldn't get over it. I just didn't feel protected. I didn't feel like he was
Dominant.
dominant alpha. Like I didn't feel like a tiny little like baby next to him. And even another guy I talked to was like the same height as me as well, and I couldn't. It was just, and that one, he was wealthy. He had like 3 different businesses, and opened my door, would take me out, super nice. But his height, I just kept looking at him like, I don't know. I need a tall
Any kissy poo
guy.
happen?
We kissed as well. Just
Did he make it to the promised land?
No, he did not.
He did not. Now, how many dates did he get?
Like 3.
And then did he try for a fourth and you shot him down?
Yeah, I wasn't interested.
He was squishy.
I wasn't feeling it.
It's not because of the height. It's because of the fact he wasn't masculine enough.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Everything is feelings and emotions. Because if he made you feel something, you would know. You'd be with him.
Would you date a girl that's taller than you, like way taller than you? Like way taller than you. I'm talking, look it up.
I dated one woman, a Brazilian. She was maybe an inch shorter than me. And then when she put heels on, which she looked incredible in,
Yeah.
she was definitely taller than me. And I didn't care because at the end of the day, at the end of the night, she's coming home with me, and I was the one plowing her strawberry fields. I was the gardener.
But you never dated a super taller girl.
No, just somebody almost as tall as me. Most of the time, the women I've dated, they're usually 5'2" to 5'4". That's like the sweet spot.
Interesting. And how tall are you?
5'9".
5'9". Okay. So you're on the shorter side.
Doesn't seem to matter. It matters on a dating app, but in the real world, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that Katie always used to joke about, like back when we used to date, was that, because she's in incredible shape, and I mean, she was won the Miss Figure competition, and even she's in her early 40s now, and she's just an unbelievable. Her body's just perfect.
Yeah.
And she's just. I remember when we first met, she was like, "You're not the typical type of guy I normally date. Usually, I date really big, bulky, 6-foot tall guys." And I'm just, I'm lean and mean like Steve McQueen. I'm just a average dude, but it didn't matter. It's like the first time we met, we were eye fucking each other instantly, and that's attraction and feeling. It cut through everything, and then we started dating. It's just I knew what to do. I totally led everything right to where I wanted to be, and so even though mentally in her mind was like that's not the type of guy I would normally date.
Yeah.
The bottom line is the first moment we made eye contact, she was smiling ear to ear, and she liked what she saw, even though I wasn't physically even close to that. I mean, again, most of the dudes, if you've seen some of her other boyfriends, are just shredded, big, bulky guys. But they didn't know what I know,
Yeah.
and that's why she was with me. and was not with those guys. And I was not what on paper she would say she wants or what she was even telling people in person. So I didn't care at all. I was smiling when she told me that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel intimidated anyway when she's like, well, you're not the type, I normally like big, bulky, muscular guys. And I was like,
But
I
you're here with
smiled.
me, though.
Yeah, I smiled because I was like, I'm used to hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm used to women. And my girlfriend before her, I also wrote about her in the book. It's like,
Mhm.
she used to tell me a lot too, especially when we met. She's like, I don't know what it is about you, but you're not the type of guy I'm normally attracted to. You're not the type of guy that I would normally date.
Yeah.
And it's just something about you. I would hear that. And a lot of people that read my book, they hear that a lot too.
Mhm.
You're not the type of guy that I would normally date.
Interesting.
And that's why for men, it's like you can, especially this day and age, you can really have an advantage if you develop yourself and your social skills
Mhm.
to where you can meet people in person and have chemistry and create a connection. And so when you meet a woman who's like, if you were on the dating app, she wouldn't even see you.
Right.
But you meet in person and you look at her with confidence and certainty that, especially if she's extremely beautiful, she's used to looking in men's eyes and them
Mhm.
just totally falling apart. That's like, that was Kay's experience because she was in such incredible shape. And I remember when we met that whole week, there were every day dudes were hitting on her, trying to take her out. And
Yeah.
it's like, she would tell me about all of them and how just, you have a look in your eye that none of these other guys here have.
Mhm.
And she couldn't figure it. I can't put my finger on it. There's just something about you.
Yeah.
It's, in other words, it's like you make them feel something that they don't feel with other people.
Aw. It's like a true love story.
It's called masculinity. A little bit of testosterone
Mm.
goes a long way. Because when people, like, I hear this all the time, people are like, you don't look like the type of guy that's going to know this stuff. Because they
Right.
expect some big 6'5", really good looking dude that's like, it looks like a model that would be, spitting all this stuff. And instead, I'm just some regular looking guy.
Mhm.
But it's like what I tell people, even if you think I'm full of shit, if you apply what's in the book, you'll see that it works for you.
Right. You're relatable.
I'm a relatable dude. What does that mean, Caroline? What is it?
What do you mean by that?
What does relatable mean? How am I
Uh,
relatable?
just relatable. Like, there's guys out here that think they don't have a chance with girls, but they can. Just if they do the right things, say the right things,
And act masculine.
and be masculine. Not act.
More masculine than
be.
you are.
Yes. Be masculine. Don't act like it. Be.
Be it. And these two guys that you're like, because when you have that, when it's the right guy,
Yeah.
because he acts like a man, you just know.
Yeah.
When you're going on a date after date after date, and the guys are just squishy, and it's not advancing to the bedroom, and you're going,
Right.
and you're okay with dipping out early,
Mhm.
it's not there. You can't make your heart feel something
Right.
it doesn't feel, and you don't want to waste your time with guys that just ain't got it. They don't have the testicular fortitude, as to borrow a term from Richard Marcinko, he's since passed away in the last couple of years. He was the founder of SEAL Team 6.
Mhm.
He called it testicular fortitude.
Mm.
And women, especially ultra feminine women like yourself, you want a masculine guy to totally dominate you
Mhm.
so you can follow his lead
Yeah.
and let him drive the fun bus.
Right. I want to be the passenger princess.
The passenger princess.
Yes.
Oh, Caroline just wants money. She wants a guy with money. You'll see the red pill guys in the comments saying that.
It's not all about money, okay?
But you did tell a story which, triggered a bunch of dudes about the boyfriend that you had on the when we were filming with Jade a couple weeks ago, and he was broke.
He
and
didn't
you
pay
were
for my
taking,
mom's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'll give you the money, just you got to pay for the bill. Don't make me
Right.
look bad.
Uh-huh.
Because in other words, you knew your mom would not be happy that you were dating some dude that was broke, but the bottom line is he was your boyfriend and you really
Yeah.
cared about him,
Mhm.
even though you didn't have his shit together.
Right.
And so several of the guys correctly saw in the comments is like, it just goes to show a girl like Caroline will give a broke ass dude a chance
I saw
if
that.
he acts like a man. And then you
Yeah.
got the guys that look at you and would want to date you and want to sleep with you, and they're like, they know you would never give them the time of day, and so their cope to make themselves feel better is, oh, she only cares about money. She's so shallow.
Yeah.
This conversation is shallow.
Right. Yeah, I did read the comments and I saw a guy say then, He's like, why would you go to an expensive place if he can't afford it? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it wasn't even an expensive plate, but like 3 plates together adds up, you know? Like one plate could be $12, another could be 16. It's going to add up to like 40, $50. The guy couldn't do that at the time, but yeah, I mean,
But you,
just
bottom line is the dude was broke. He didn't have money, and yet you still were willing to
I
give him
still
a
loved
chance.
him,
You still
so
loved him
that was my boyfriend. I didn't care if he couldn't. I just didn't want him to look bad in front of my mom either. So,
because you wanted her to like him.
yeah.
You wanted her approval.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's much better to have mom's approval than that guy's broke. You deserve
Right.
better.
Yeah. I don't want to hear the jibber jabber. And some guys were like, I think I saw a comment that the guy was like, it's not my job to pay for your mom's meal or whatever. But if you know Latina culture and Hispanic culture, we kind of expect that. So,
That guy's not going out with women. He's not getting dates. He's not getting laid. Guys
yeah.
that are angry like that, they're frustrated because they're not getting any.
Yeah.
And so their cope is to be a cunt in the comments.
And you can tell he probably doesn't love his mom either,
Yeah.
because if he did, he would know to respect
Well,
the
that's they
mother.
watch all these, red pill shows that have a bunch of OnlyFans girls, sex workers, strippers on there that and then try to convince men that this is the modern women. This is your typical dating pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so these guys just berate these women and talk down to them and condescend them and get the girls pissed off so they can throw them off the show and make a big scene because quite frankly that shit's entertaining. People love conflict. They love that Jerry Springer type of crap, which gets a lot of views,
Yeah.
but it's not really helping anybody. And you got guys that aren't getting anything with women. They're pissed off and they're bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And so they watch these guys on these big YouTube channels just berating women and being a dick to women
Yeah.
and treating them like dirt. And they think, well, that's the way you talk to women because you can tell in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are not going out on dates. It's like those guys are not men that are well liked by women
Right.
at all. And that's the harsh reality. In order to make themselves feel better, they want to say, oh, well, she belongs to the streets, or oh, she's shallow, or she's this, or whatever it happens to be, because it's a cope. Because at the end of the day, they know they're not at a place in their lives where a girl like you is going to give them the time of day because they don't act like a man.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy's angry and pissed off all the time and you just met him,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel safe. You're going to feel like something's off with this guy. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel like he may harm you.
Right. Yeah. Or they're probably in a miserable relationship and don't know why, and the reason is he's
These
the
guys
issue.
aren't in relationships. They're not getting any
Yeah.
punani.
Who knows?
They're not getting to the promised land.